Welcome back, friends, to Max Q Barbecue. My name is Craig, and today we're shooting Season 2, Episode 4, Mason Dixon Barbecue Camp, Whole Hog. So we're here in Greencastle, Pennsylvania at the 2023 Mason Dixon Whole Hog Pork Cut Cook Tonight. And we're in the process of preparing some pork butts and cooking a whole hog. The Whole Hog Barbecue Boot Camp is an overnight event. So we brought along this tent so we'd have a place to take a nap during the night.
Actually, I'd have to look at the tag. It's about 65 pounds of grass. It should have been about 110 pounds. So this is about 100. Now, we buy all of our pigs from Hearst Meats down in Morgansville. They slaughter between 300 and 500 pigs a week. And any place that you're buying a pig from, they're buying it from Hearst Meats, and then they're marking it up, and then they're selling it. But I would tell you that Hearst Meats is one of the last true butchers out there. They're a Mennonite company. They're Mennonites, and it's pronounced it's spelled H-O-R-S-T. It's pronounced Hearst, which is a Mennonite thing. But actually, when you walk in there, if you've never been to Hearst Meats, they're down in Morgansville, down the road here on Right Church Road. And when you walk in there, you walk into their meat counter, okay, and behind them is a glass wall, and they got like 15 Mennonite guys in there in white coats, and they've got like beef hanging and pork hanging and this and that. And you can literally go to them and say, look, I need some beef short ribs, you don't have them in the case. And they'll be like, yep. And they'll walk back there and they'll talk to one of the Mennonite guys in a coat, and they'll be like, yep. And they'll go over to the cow, and they'll bring it over, and they'll lay it down. All right, so anyway, so this guy was about 110 pounds. You lose about 40% when you do a hog. And I will tell you, as much as I hate to say this, and I know a lot of you guys are here to do a hog, is that a hog is pretty much a waste of money unless you're going to get one this size, okay? And the reason I say that is because you're paying for head, and although cheek meat is the cook's cut, it's the best cut on a pig, okay? Nevertheless, you're paying for a lot of bone, you're paying for a lot of leg, you're paying for ears, you're paying for a lot of stuff that you can't actually eat. All right, but the presentation is pretty darn cool. Yeah, so when you get up to, like when I catered, I would never do more than 135 pounds wrestling. So I started stuffing pigs with whole chickens because, and I like cooking them this way. There are a bunch of different ways you can cook them. This is what they call a tuck position. So you have your back legs tucked up underneath, you have your front legs tucked on both sides, okay? And it makes for a nice presentation. It's pretty. And it sits up high, okay? One of the reasons it's important that it sits up high is because your loins here are going to cook a lot faster than your butts or your hams, okay? And so you want to have your loins up high off of the heat source, number one, okay? And number two is you want to have something inside of it in order to prevent that heat from coming right up and cooking those loins. All right, now we're going to inject this guy. We're going to do everything from the other side because any holes that you put in this skin will go from a hole, like a little hole, to a tear. It will tear all the way along, okay? And it'll crack, and when that happens, you'll lose a lot of the moisture out of your pig. You don't want to do that. The other way that you can do a hog is called butterfly. What will happen then is that they'll actually cut the backbone, and you'll lay it like this. All right, we'll cut it out, and then the whole thing will be laid out. Now that's true Southern style. In the South, they do that a lot. They'll actually break the neck, or they'll cut the neck, and then they'll turn the head around. Okay, so the head actually sits straight up, and they'll kind of present it that way. Kind of weird. You ever see a pig like that run through life? Not cooked, but like actually alive. So anyway, and the reason those butterflies is your butterfly, you lay it out, all right, and then it'll cook, number one, a lot faster. And then when you see Southern style, okay, what'll end up happening is they'll mop it the entire time. And so when they mop it, what'll happen is that skin will get really hard, and that skin will hold that mop to the point where you almost have a soup inside your pig. Okay, and that'll cook it that way. And it's got a lot of flavor to it. It's really good. Most of the time it's vinegar somewhere along the way. And it's really cool that way. I think it's a better presentation when it's what I call the tuck position. I started doing chickens because the first catering I ever did, the first time I had done a whole hog anyway, when we got there and we did the pig and we did the presentation in the whole 9 yards, we had some Jewish folks over there and they were like, well, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, I didn't know what to be here. So we had to go run out and buy some national hot dogs and serve them. And so one of the things that we thought about doing then, and we saw this down at the Italian market down in South Street down in Philly. There's a butcher down there that actually stuffs his pigs with chickens. So what will end up happening, we'll have some of you guys work on this here in just a little bit, we'll tear all the skins off the chickens, we'll season those chickens up really well, and then we'll shove them into this cavity as many as we can get in there. And then what that happens then is the chickens will cook at the same time as the pig, It'll save my loins from overcooking, okay? And then we'll have pulled chicken and we'll have pulled pork at the same time. So, any questions about that up to now? No? Sir?
One thing, one presentation, if you're going to put something in that pig's mouth, now's the time that you got to do that. Open that up with a walking roof, because once it cooks and you go to pull that apart, it's going to come apart on it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put something like an apple in its mouth or beer corn in its mouth for presentation, whatever it is, you got to separate that jaw out.
Yeah, put a block of wood in there, put a block in there, something like
You're
that.
going to fight with it right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That's something to do. Stuffing, we went back, let's talk about stuffing one more time. So the other thing you can do is, you know how you debone those pork butts, okay? It's 3 or 4 days ahead of time. If you want to debone some pork butts and you want to go ahead and you want to inject them and marinate them, let them sit up for 3 or 4 days in the refrigerator, those things will have a ton of flavor. All right, and then shove the pork butts inside of here, the bone of pork butts. You can do that as well. And you've got to add the time into your cook that you're going to cook that. Now we do these things at 300 degrees, and we figure it's going to be about 45 minutes for every 45 minutes for every 15 pounds. I might go back on that something like that, and talk about that some more, because I don't remember my numbers right off the top of my head, and I would go big ones to do in this class. But anyway, we do them a little bit hotter because I want to get the crackling out of it. So we know we'll run this pig tonight at 300 degrees, and it should be done in about 7.5 hours. But you got to take into account the weight that you're going to put into the cavity as well as part of your calculations. I'll go back. But anyway, all right. So I got a guy with a knife. You're the man. All right. You're my helper. You're my helper. You're my helper. All right. All right, so now we're going to inject this pig. Okay, so now you're going to do it. You're going to inject this pig.
Mason Dixon Barbecue is a dealer for Meadow Creek barbecue smokers. Today we're going to be using the PR60 60-inch charcoal pig roaster to cook our whole pig.
About halfway through, we'll probably wrap the ears, the tail, and the nose in foil.
Alrighty, breakfast is served. We have our sausage, egg, and Little Smokies fatty. We have our hash browns, egg, and cheese. And over here we have our pork burn-ins, which is really our pulled pork that's been cubed, or our pork butt that's been cubed and then covered in some barbecue sauce. So that's breakfast, all cooked out here at Barbecue Camp 2023 Whole Hog.
That way you give yourself plenty of time, okay, to get done what you need to get done. One of the things that we're looking for, so we tempt them, all right, and the hams, All right, we temped them in the shoulders, okay, and then we went ahead and temped them in the belly to make sure our chickens were done as well. We're looking for a temperature right around 200 to 205. 205 is optimal. A little bit higher than that actually will work too. I think the hams probably came in a little bit higher than the shoulders. It took a little bit long for the shoulders to get done. One of the other things I'm looking for too, now this has a pretty good color. She's a little bit dark. It has a good color to it. Is when you tap on it, okay, like you can really hear it here. All right, what you want to do is you want to make sure that the fat, okay, from under the skin has completely rendered. All right, if you get a chance, come over and knock on the pig, and you'll kind of feel, but you can feel when it's done, you'll know, all right? Just because of the fact that, again, when you tap on it, like getting cracked there, when you tap on it, that fat has rendered from under the skin. That's exactly what you're looking for, okay? It makes for a nice presentation. Normally this would come off of here, all right? And then we would put kale all the way around it with some fruit and the whole 9 yards. And you make a presentation out of it. It's pretty that way. So, and that's kind of what you're after. So as far as pulling this thing goes, we'll probably need about 2 more people. Come on over. I get somebody else with gloves on. But you'll see, we'll get about 3 pans worth out of it as far as the pork goes. And that's about what you'll get. It's about 30 pounds. You figure about 10 pounds per pan, maybe 12 pounds per pan. So we'll get about 36 pounds, maybe 40 if we're lucky. Normally between 30 and 40.
One of the best things about a Mason Dixon Barbecue Boot Camp is the ability to use one of the many pits that they have on site for the cooks. Whether it's a Green Mountain grill or an Old Country pit or a Meadow Creek smoker, there's lots of choices including Weber's and Big Green Eggs. So check them out.
It's got a little more juice to it. I almost never serve pork with sauce. I think hacks do that. Yeah. I think you always serve sauce on the side. I don't believe in serving sauce with the pork.
You're trying to cover it up.
You're trying to cover up. You're right. You can hide a lot with sauce. The only time we ever sauce our pork is for the ladies next door here at the Biblical Education Center. They sell pork. We do it for them once a year as a charity.
There's the boat.
And it is.
I knew I missed
best sauce you've ever put in your mouth. It's like a lot of sugar.
I hope you enjoyed our video as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. There's nothing more special than attending a Mason Dixon Barbecue Boot Camp. And the Whole Hog Overnight Boot Camp was no disappointment. Ethan and I both had a great time bringing this to you. And as we leave, we want to leave you with some images of the Mason Dixon Barbecue store. It is always great to have a full service, fully stocked store when you're cooking barbecue. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and enjoy our video.